Hello, my name is Judy. Welcome to the Liberating Multitasker. Today I thought we'd make stuffed bell peppers for supper, so come join me. So we're going to start off with this quinoa. I've rinsed it. I'm going to drizzle just a little bit of olive oil in here. And I just want to toast it to give it a little extra flavor. And then I'll add some of my chicken bone broth to cook this for about 15 to 20 minutes. And while that's toasting, I'm going to just saute my onions and roasted garlic. This is one of the onions that I had cut up in my freezer. I'm just going to stir these while they're sauteing. We just want to get them translucent. It's just going to take a couple of minutes. Just breaking it up a little bit. It was still frozen when I put it in the pan. Just going to stir the quinoa while it's toasting. And now I'm going to get ready to add my homemade chicken bone broth. I'll link a video above if you're interested in seeing that video. It's really quite easy to make. I'm now going to add about 3 cloves of roasted garlic. If you're interested in that video, I'll link it above as well. Just going to chop that up and continue to stir this around. Now I'm going to add 1 pound of ground beef and 1 pound of ground sausage. I'm just going to salt and pepper the meat. And then break it up and let it brown. Now I've made stuffed bell peppers several different ways. The last time I made them, I made a low-carb version where basically it was just your ground beef, your ground pork, Italian seasoning, and of course cheese. This time I wanted a different option, so I've incorporated some complex carbs to make what I feel is a healthier version of this dish. Now it's time to add our seasonings. This is 1 tablespoon of Azure Standard's taco seasoning mix. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of Joe Daddy's. It's a Creole seasoning that is one of our favorites. 1 teaspoon of turmeric. And 1 teaspoon of curry powder. We're just going to blend this up really well. It's going to make it look a little orange, but it's going to be good. Just bear with me. I'm just going to continue to stir all this together and let the meat continue to brown. Going to check on the quinoa, stir it up. It's just about ready. I'm going to chop this meat up just a little finer. I like smaller pieces instead of big chunks. And now we're just about ready for our next ingredient. So I have rinsed these black beans several times. I'm just going to add 1 can and then 1 can of green chilies. And we're just going to mix that all in together. I'm going to stir this all in really well. And then I'm going to get my casserole dish ready. So all I need to do is just put some olive oil in the bottom of that dish and preheat my oven to 350 degrees. Now I harvested 3 bell peppers this morning, and you see those here, and I'm going to get those ready to stuff. Now it's time to add my quinoa to my meat and bean mixture, and then we're just going to stir it in really well. I will be adding some salt and pepper. Quinoa is very bland, so you need to add a lot of seasonings. That's one reason I like to toast it and cook it in chicken broth, just to help it add a little bit of flavor. Now we're just going to mix it all in together, make sure everything's good incorporated, and this pretty much completes our stuffing for our bell peppers. And once it's all good and mixed, I'll cut that off. Now this is much more mixture than I'm going to need for the bell peppers I'm cooking today. Now a lot of people choose to stuff the whole bell pepper. However, today I've just decided to do bell pepper halves. So I've cut them in half, de-seeded them, and I'm just going to put this meat mixture in each half and place it in my casserole dish. But that's not where it ends. I have more goodness to add. So I'm filling these just as full as I can get them. Just a couple more left to stuff. Now I know that quinoa is good for you, but it's never been our go-to. It's always been potatoes or rice. But I'm trying to use it more. And so using it in a dish like this is great. And I really can't tell the difference between this and rice. But I do feel like it's a healthier option. Now, I have a half a pint of homemade salsa left in my refrigerator. And so I've decided to top my bell peppers with that. This is such a great way to use up some of the things I have in my refrigerator that I don't want to go bad. And it's going to add great flavor to our stuffed peppers. So I'm almost done. I'm just trying to get it evenly proportioned and covering all the meat mixture on top. Now I also have some homemade canned tomato sauce. This is the first year I've canned tomato sauce, and I have to say I believe I'll do it again. Now I'm just going to add a few more seasonings. I'm going to add some oregano and some basil. I also have some Italian seasoning. I'll sprinkle some of that on top as well. And last but not least, a good amount of pepper jack cheese on top of each pepper. Now since we've already cooked our meat mixture, basically all we have to do is put this in the oven and let it cook for about 20 minutes. We want the peppers to get a little soft and we want the cheese to melt. Now as you can see, I have a whole lot of the meat mixture left. But don't worry, it's not going to go to waste. I'm going to scoop this out into my glass containers and I will freeze them for later use. So next time I want stuffed peppers, I don't have to do all the meat mixture cooking. All I have to do is stuff the peppers, add the cheese, and bake them. So I end up with about 2.5 cups per dish, and that's going to be great. Now let's take a look at our peppers. I'm telling you, they look and smell delicious. This ends up being enough for our supper, and I'm able to save 3 of these for another meal. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.